it's your boy Austin.
And I'm Alex. You're tuned into the Real Mask Off Podcast, where real talk lives.
We built this brand from our story. 2 fathers with 5 kids. Each no silver spoon, just soul and hustle. Now it's stitched into every fabric of the legacy brand.
This ain't just merch. This is an identity. Father of 5, mother of 3, deep in the D. We make gear that reps you.
From varsity jackets to hoodies with the tally marks. Every piece of this legacy wear, this is the real one raising kings and queens.
So if you're about yours, hit that link in our bio or go to thelegacybrand.myshopify.com. Cop yours, rock it, and rap your story. The Legacy Brand. Unmask everything.
Oh, God.
Yo, real quick before we get up out of here.
You're gonna start again.
Yo, real quick before we get up out of here though, we gotta shout out the Legacy Brand. That's the movement behind the message.
Oh, the Legacy Brand. We got something for everybody. Father of, mother of, deep for the kids, all represent family pride and realness.
What up, family? It's your boy Austin, and you tuned in to another episode of the Real Mask Off Podcast. And you know who I got here with us?
What up, y'all?
Yeah.
It's me. It's Alex. How y'all doing today?
Hey, Boogie Boys. Today we talk about leadership. Not that polished up bullshit. Not that TED Talk leadership shit. I'm talking real life. You asked for the title. Now what?
That's the topic of the day.
On God. Let's talk about it.
Leaders. What do we know about leaders? People think they're leaders. Some people think they're leaders. Some people think they're bosses.
So are you bossing bosses?
You're a boss.
How'd you say that shit? How you say
Boss is boss. Leaders lead.
God.
Boss is boss. Leaders lead.
Boss is boss. Leaders lead.
But I guess when we talk about that today, we got to understand like where everybody comes from, because there's different versions of it, you know, of being a leader. It's obviously military leaders, people in the workforce, people outside the workforce. But I think you got to, at least you got a definition of, do you have a definition for what a leader is?
Yeah, I actually do. You want me to read the actual definition, or did you want me to read the more broken down, explained version?
Whatever you think.
Okay, I'm gonna just go with this one because this one I actually kind of liked. I think it was pretty much to the point.
Okay.
It says leadership is the ability to guide and motivate individuals or groups towards a shared goal, inspiring them to achieve more than they could alone. It involves setting a vision, making decisions, and fostering a positive environment that enables others to grow and succeed. Effective leadership is about influence, not just position, and it requires strong communication, integrity, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances.
Wow, that's a deep definition too.
Yeah.
It encompasses a lot.
Yeah, that's why I like that one. I mean, like for someone
that's a
that
good
probably
one.
didn't understand what the word leadership meant.
Still, even listening to the definition, I think for, you know, for people out in the real world like us, you know, unless you've been in the military or in some sort of paramilitary faction of something, I think you get a structure in that version that you can carry over into the free world. But a lot of people in the free world just try to make it up as they go, or they're naturally born in seeing the patterns of things and kind of taking over a situation. You know, what do you think? What do you think is there a definition to you of what you think a leader is, a leader should be? Like, is there, you know, a criteria?
Yeah, I just think that.
Because I have a criteria. If you got a criteria, like what you think, I guess, puts that best foot forward of being a leader that Austin strives for. Not necessarily that you have all the qualities, but you know what I mean.
Right. I definitely get it.
That you work towards, sorry.
And I think it's just like number one, being a good, effective leader, is you first have to care. You got to give a fuck.
Yeah.
You have to first know the vision and believe in the vision, and in order for you to be an effective example of, excuse me, my voice cracked there a little bit. uh, to be the example that you know of the direction of the way everything should be. I guess if I've explained that correctly. Did that make sense?
You got to have the one. You got to be the person with the direction and
Yeah.
kind of implement the plan.
Yeah.
Like I always look at it like growing up, I watched the A-Team.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the A-Team. It was one of my favorite. I loved all the characters on it.
Yeah, my dad kind of put me up on that later on in time.
One of my favorite characters, though, on the show is the old man. I forgot his name, but he would always get the plan together. He always had the plan that the A-Team would do, no matter the situation, no matter what it was. He got the plan together. And at the end of the episode, when it all worked out, he would stand there and light a cigar, an old man with his white hair, and be like, I love it when a plan comes to work.
That's some shit your ass is saying work.
But that's how it is. That's how I feel. Sometimes I felt like it. That maybe when I was young, that was that little old man in me. Because I loved it. I was like, man, when you take a good plan and it comes to work, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, and especially when you get to watch it come together too.
Yeah.
And that just comes from hard work and dedication and be prepared to fail. Because a lot of times as being a leader is being able to,
you're right.
Be prepared to fail, because a lot of times, like, we deal with that on the regular, as far as like, you'll just be right there almost at a perfect slate. And, 2 or 3 things go wrong that just set us back, 14 steps, that we just took to go forward. So just dealing with conflict resolution situations, I think that comes a lot from being an effective leader, but that also comes from being aware and caring enough to pay attention to your team members that are there to get the job done. Everybody needs to be in their place to do their thing.
So to be all encompassing, like the definition or what we think a leader should be, you have to understand all the needs, even down to the littlest bit of individuals.
Yeah. The bullshit, even the shit that, like, are you serious? Like somebody's car broke down 4 times in a week.
Yeah.
But, they got a brand new car or whatever. Just simple things just to get off
things
work.
have people have bad situations out of work, and you might peep it, but it's not nothing you call out on people.
Absolutely.
You might know that, I could tell this cat's going through some stuff at home. He somewhat said something, but I could tell you that it's, he's trying to balance right now. And to be a good leader, you also have to understand that each of the people you're trying to lead are also separate tools. Mm-hmm. Some might be a Swiss Army knife. Those are great guys to have and ladies to have. Some might be just a hammer.
Yeah.
Some might be a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. There's different versions, and knowing the people you're going to lead is half the battle, I think.
Yeah, that's,
it took me a while to learn that, though.
It did.
For you guys, seriously. It took me a while to learn to understand more the needs, because you can come off as just a hard ass, straight and narrow in let's face it, all of us, we all have jobs out there that most of us don't want to do.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have a hard ass on you that just is a step up. It's the same in the free world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah. And that's where we run into a lot of those situations too. That's why I had to accomplish there are different ways for us to be able to, like, lead the different type of people, like, as Doug, you tell him that, text him and tell him we shooting,
we shooting, son.
Yeah.
Pull up.
I realistically paid attention to the fact that when I was first got into like leadership, a real leadership role, was at Buffalo Wild Wings BW3, and it was a lot of college kids and like wealthy kids that didn't necessarily need the job. They just had to get the job so they can get their allowance from their parents. So like talking crazy to them, they just won't come back. And then you just won't have a staff, bro. Like you'll do everything talking crazy to those different class of people, you know, like the youth, they wasn't trying to hear that. They was like, all right, yeah, then walk out. I'm talking about in the middle of a rush, just get too busy, getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're dealing with different emotions.
You got to realize everybody's their own certain person.
Facts.
You know, it is. And you don't have to, I guess, relate exactly to everything, but you can understand it. You know, you can understand where people are. Sometimes when you're in a title, they'd like to say leaders too. And they like to I think that's just kind of fooling America somewhat as a leader. But really, we are just bosses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as a title goes to me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be a boss.
I want to be a leader.
Yeah. I don't want to be somebody who, I think a boss is somebody who just comes in, tells you the rules. This is how it is. And, you can just be out of here,
Yeah, you can have the cattle mentality, like everybody.
Because it will. It'll just keep coming in. Yeah, you'll have high rotation coming in. High. What do we call it again? High turnover.
High turnover, and that's the part that baffles me. Is like why waste the money on the training, on investing in new people when you can just treat people like people at the door.
Well,
right?
Human resources in most places seem to pander.
Yeah.
Tell you to just pander, rather than they don't quite understand. Really is that person needs to learn other people,
mm-hmm.
Because that's how you get to learn other people to the point where you put your aces in its places.
Yeah.
You know where to put who to waste your time with and who not to.
Exactly.
Like if this person might have some qualities, because for me, a leader, that's a high bar to me.
Yeah.
To me, it's a high bar, like I know that there's plenty of military people out there and servicemen and women that, leave the military in a high part, maybe some sort of leadership role, whatever it may be, come out in the real world and it doesn't necessarily transcend because they're not realizing that everybody hasn't been trained like they were in the military.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like said, that's why I say though, the military men and women, they get that great benefit of learning the structures and the dynamics of leadership.
Yeah.
And the best ones carry it over outside of the job.
Yeah, they know how to translate it to its environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about Buffalo Wild Wings. It just showed you, like in my journey of Buffalo Wild Wings, I started from the bottom and worked my way up through there. And with me, it was like, basically, I paid attention to like specs. I paid attention to the job, and then I got promoted and I was able to teach other people the job. And I just cared about people learning. And at first, like everybody was like, hey, yo, Austin, you shouldn't be so like nice, to them. You got to like be a little bit more firm with them. And I'm like, listen, I know one thing, that everybody comes here is because it's against their will. No one just comes to this shit. And that's not a shot at beat us. I'm just saying a style of job.
Do you think you're trying to create a balance? It's the carrot and stick mentality on a horse, right? Do you use the carrot now or do I use the stick?
Exactly.
I want to use the carrot most of the times. I don't want to use the stick, and I want you guys to know that I don't want to use the stick.
Right. And
they, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we don't want to go that route,
Exactly. It's not necessary. There's some people that you will feel like that you have to talk like that with them or like more stern. That's just your telltale that individual is not working out, right? If they can't conform to a person that's literally trying to give you the blueprint,
somewhat of a compromise, and somewhat see the aspect you're showing them.
Exactly. You can easily weave them out because everybody else gets it. Why can't you get it? You just want to be the odd? Okay, then go be the odd somewhere else, because we have something here that's already working. And I don't need to beat my chest and say, hey, I'm the boss here. No, it's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what my position is. But my position is only effective if I'm successfully getting the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's how I look at it.
They'll just bring somebody else in. Sometimes it might be worse. It's a gamble. Sometimes you got to realize that you have a good boss when you have a good boss or a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody even thinks of it like that. That's why I don't like always saying leader, because nobody goes home and says, my leadership was great today.
Yeah.
My leader was great. I asked my leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my boss.
That's
you
my
know,
boss.
because that's what it is. It's just a plus if you get a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it is few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an example? Do you have anything that anybody that you feel like you took away from that you seen in their position as maybe a boss or a leader where you can like, yeah, I could use that?
Yeah, I think from every status in my life, I think of leadership.
Even outside of jobs.
Yeah, I think that there was always someone that like gave me a different level of understanding, like even how I operate here. Right, I always taught like to respect the hierarchy. Right, so if there's people above me, I've ran into situations where I was a partner at an establishment, and the owners were asking me, did I want to take the position of the person that was my superior? But the person that was my superior there was the person that brought me in as his assistant. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot from him. You know, I had a lot of respect for him. So when they came to me and asked me about his position and offering it to me, even as a temporary, you know, I was like, no, because I didn't want to betray him. Right. And he ended up terminating me anyways for like the most stupidest shit ever too. Like broken glass in the parking lot. And it was really dumb. I'm not going to lie. That shit was dumb. But, you know, it was just like that made me feel like, okay, maybe I need to hold back some, because if I do exude my position of authority, like out there asking for, I over exude myself, then the people that are above me now are intimidated by me at coming for their position type shit. And that's not even my type of demeanor. I've never been that type of dude. You know, I just respect the hierarchy, and I'm going to effectively do what I can at the top of my ability until I start feeling as though like, you know, hey, you don't respect my time. You know,
Yeah.
You don't respect my characteristics that I bring to this place. And if you're just going to continue to play with me, I have no choice but to be here. But it's like only so much levels of fucks I can continue to give when I know a person is blatantly.
Yeah, I think that's what gets most people in not want. That's why I say, once again, not wanting to be like leader isn't really just not even the right word. Sometimes it's not even wanting to be a boss, because sometimes from the outside, you know what it's going to take and what it's going to cost. And I'd say 100% of the time, it takes your time.
A whole lot.
For sure. You know, so when you take a step up, you know that's taking your time, and to me, time's worth more than money.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's the one thing that you can never get back. You can lose all your money and get all of it back. You know what I mean? Tenfold. But you can't get none of that time back. That's what I was saying, even as far as like with the children, not having the time because you work so much because you're trying to pay bills and you're still barely getting by. You can't go do nothing fun because you don't have the extra money to go do something fun. So now you're in a dilemma, or you work so much where you can't be around your family. And when you are around, you're miserable because, you know, just in 2 days, you got to go back. You know what I'm saying? And the cycle starts all the fuck over again. Yeah. Or you do something about it, but the world constantly beating you down. Some people break under those circumstances, and it's hard for them to bounce back.
I try to shut it off. I try to shut off from the moment I'm clocked out. That world's not my world right now.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And I think since I've been able to do that more and more, especially recently, I think it's been easier to manage. It's a lot harder to say and for people to do, but I think it's definitely became easier to manage as far as it is what it is. You know, everything to me just is I'm like a boxer shadow boxing, or I'm like a boxer fighting a bunch of boxers at once, just ducking and bobbing and weaving and taking whatever comes at you all day long. So I'm pretty good to be reactionary and not dwell and think on it anymore. Just know kind of what's coming, know the cause and effect, see that first, and then be like, okay, we're going to have to deal with this bullshit in about 10 minutes. See this coming. You know what I mean?
You can forecast it a little bit better now.
Yeah, but the only way I think people can do that is you have to take the emotion out.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take the emotion out of it and realize that, you know, we are just people and humans out there. You know, a lot of people take it personally. Why is this person fucking me over? He's worked for me so long, not doing this, not doing that. I don't take that shit personally.
Yeah, you can't take that shit personal. You got to understand, it's always two sides to that story. Yeah, maybe that person was giving you 110% in the beginning, and then you then shitted on them and shitted on them and shitted on them and shitted on them so many times. And it's like, you keep telling me or promising me something. And
well, you can't do that as a leader, right? Or even as a boss. You can't promise something and say, this is kind of not keep your word.
Exactly.
Because that's definitely not being a leader.
That's a definite bet.
And, you know, that's just going to get you into trust issues and trouble as far as being a boss.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I think I got lucky. I had some good examples on the fire department of great leaders.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's paramilitary. You go through, you know, an academy and try to get everybody on the same page and working together, working in unison.
Uniform approach.
Yeah. And then when, you know, even when you get out there, you're always learning the job above you, you know, just in case. It's kind of, you know, kind of like the military style, the way it is. But when you get out there, like I had a lot of great bosses, legendary on the Detroit Fire Department. Cashin, O'Dowd, Audette as a chief, like a lot of different guys, and even ladies, you know, a lot of great sergeants I had. I think about all those names, and I think two stand out to me the most, as far as being, they both had two different styles, and then they both had, I think, almost the total package of being a leader.
Yeah.
I think, well, one was this guy, Lieutenant Dodds, and he had this, he looked like, what's his name? Sam Elliott, the white guy with the mustache, the old white guy. I'm trying to think what he's been in a ton of different things, but that's what he looked like. He'd have a cigar, you know, and no matter the fire scene or anything that you would have, whether it was a fire, accidents, and no matter what it was, he was always calm, always cool, always collected. Got tons of respect throughout the fire department. I think if anybody wanted to be like a boss, he would definitely be one that you would choose. When, you know, you would do things, helped in training, keep you guys on your toes, but everybody had this respect for him too. He put in his time. He was a good fireman. People would talk about him, you know, his past firefighting days. You'd hear the stories and shit, you know,
He was
saving babies and shit, you know. Yeah, I don't want to talk about him like he's dead either. I don't think he's dead, everybody. So, I mean, I feel like I'm now talking about him like he's dead, so I feel bad.
You haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him in forever. But, and also, like, because I can even remember two guys were about to fight. And in the firehouse, if you're about to get into a fight, you know, you take it to the basement.
In the boxing ring.
You go to the basement and, well, there's no ring, but that's going to be the ring, you know, and then it's over. But, you know, as a boss, you don't want that to happen either.
Yeah.
And I remember Dodds would come in every morning and he'd be sitting right by the doorway with his legs crossed, smoking a cigar, drinking coffee, reading the paper. Two guys start going at it. Fuck you. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, let's go in the basement. Okay. Nobody's saying anything why these guys are going at it in there too. Dodd's still sitting there just trying to read his paper, you know,
Smoke his cigar.
smoke his cigar. And he just looked when they both, okay, fuck you, fuck, let's go. They both go to walk. I'm thinking, oh, great. I can go in the basement. I'm going to run down there. Let me get down there.
Blew his shit straight out.
Yeah. And then all Dodds had to say was like, you guys go in that basement, you're in trouble. And just like a father, like, you know, like something along those lines. You guys walk out that door, you're done. You know, like you ain't going to the basement.
Yeah.
And they both just like, I guess we're not going to the basement. There was no argument. There was no screaming or nothing after that. One stormed out one way, one stormed out the other way. And it was just so cool, calm, and just like,
That's it. What I said.
yeah. And you weren't going to, you know, and he was not this huge, intimidating guy either. He's just this, like, if he said it, that's what it was going to be. And you weren't going to question it, you know. But he didn't even have to be tough like that. He led by example.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had another one who I think encompasses it all in just a little different way would be a Lieutenant Delore. She was also, you know, just all encompassing as far as a boss goes. Like you can have a scene. We had a scene one time. We're pulling up and me and another guy in the back, and it's a car accident. Car flies up off a 94 ramp off one of the streets, Lanyo or something, blows the sign, and hits a car with 4 girls in it.
Oh, damn.
And I mean, when we pulled up, the one girl behind the driver, you just tell in her eyes she was gone. The other girl next to her in the back was gone.
Damn.
And the driver and the passenger were both ejected out the passenger door.
Shit. Damn.
And you know, so you can have these things happen, and then sometimes the family gets there before everybody else. So now they're seeing this.
Oh my.
And you know, maybe at that time EMS was running slow, and you have 4 bodies, and you can only, you know, you're not supposed to put anybody into a squad. You need 4 EMSs, 1 for each body. You know, you can't pronounce anybody dead or anything. You know, you got to just, you know, you got to do your thing. And
do your due diligence.
And that's when I say squad guys. Squad guys in Detroit, there's engines, trucks, and squads, but squad guys, they handle a lot of that shit. And if you are ever in need, those Detroit squad guys are some bad motherfuckers.
Bad to the bone.
I had to give a shout out to Squad 4 guys, because they were always there for me.
I know what it is.
But my point is, I guess, reeling back, is you can have that type of scene. You can have family members on there ready to murder somebody. And then this Lieutenant Delore could diffuse that whole situation. You know, I seen a car flip over with some weight in the back, and it fell out, you know, and I remember her just handling it like, all right, okay, we're going to walk down here, not go back to the rig, call this in. While other guys are just standing there ready to just get their product back out the trunk, you know? Yeah. Any type of situation, people getting angry or upset, or even in the worst fires, you know, there was never a worry when you had either of those 2 bosses with them, plus millions of, I shouldn't say millions, but lots of other ones that I had.
Time. Yeah, because you worked there for a lot of years.
So it's just like those type of leadership. And then not to mention, you know, there's still this criteria to me that they all followed too was, you know, you didn't take from your men or women under you. You don't take from them. You don't even play poker with them and take their money. And when, you know what I mean? You start to, when you're in a leadership position, that's when you truly have to separate yourself, because you're only needed to be known as a leader in order for it to make it work. If you're out partying with the guys and doing things like that, then that's going to take some things down a notch of you being a leader.
Yeah, because you're going to see you as
Yes,
a
and
regular
and
person.
yeah, and to a true leader, you got to make a lot of sacrifices, and you got to be okay with that. You know, if you get into a position, there might not be no more parties like that, or you might not be there as long, or doing certain things. You know, you don't want to put yourself in that position. And then I would say the absolute number one building block, if you woke up tomorrow morning and said, I am going to be a leader, I'm going to put these building block shoes on, it would be get to work on time. Number one. You get to work on time every day. You lead by example, and that's the number one thing you ask any boss out there at any store, any restaurant, anywhere. The two things they'd probably tell you is, I wish people would show up, and then show up on time.
Yep.
You know?
When you show up to work.
You know, and that's like the number one thing. So I'm sorry if you can't sacrifice that and be that. It's hard for me to say you're a leader yet. You might be a leader in training. You might be growing, but you ain't figured it out yet.
100%.
I'll do the hardest job in front of each and every one of you guys to show you I will do the hardest job. And when you do it, you'll know I can do it. You know,
yeah,
I won't send you into something I would not do myself, period. You know?
Yeah. And then even with some of the shit that we'll send ourselves into, it still would be something that like, shit, I shouldn't even did this to myself.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
shit.
But that's that sacrifice. I use it, but that's kind of like what we've talked about before. That's part of growing and kind of knowing that, all right, I'm gonna have to walk through this ring of fire. I know it's gonna be hot. I know it's gonna suck, but I gotta do it to get this other fucking thing done. And sometimes you don't even care. You just go through it. Sometimes you overthink it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it might be too late, you know, and then you gotta fucking punt, figure out a different angle, figure out something else.
And sometimes in leadership, you gotta know when to say no. You know what I'm saying? Because certain things just can't be done. I've learned that in the level of leaderships that I've been in.
Oh, that's, you know, what's funny is, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No,
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, basically saying like certain shit like that, like, certain things just can't be done. They want fairy tale, shit, happening. Yeah, we want y'all to fill up 3 trailers. I'm just using our job as an example. That's not really a thing, but like 3 trailers and keep the store filled. And I need all the trucks dumped by 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but I feel like sometimes the military, paramilitary part brings that to a close where there isn't anything I can't get done.
Yeah.
I just got to relay that message to you that this is what I need to get it done.
Yeah.
You can tell me to do anything and I'll get that shit done, but I'm going to tell you how I got to get it done.
Exactly. You can't give me your fake ass time. Now I'll try to get it done within the time that you need it done in, but we got to be realistic with it. You got to know what we're dealing with. You got to let me show you that I'm leading from a perspective of I know what we got here. You know what I'm saying? And I know what we can use them at. You're supposed to be paying attention to that type of shit when you're in leadership. Every person that comes to that door is different, and you can benefit from them in different ways, just like they could benefit from this job. It's supposed to be a win-win on both behalves.
Okay. Do you feel like, because I told you kind of my background and structure of that, do you think your background and structure helped you with that and realizing almost like that there's a good in everybody? Not necessarily in a using fashion that I can use, but obviously we know through past experiences of back in the day hustling and shit, that's a good read, correct? Yeah. If I'm going to hustle somebody, I know who I'm getting what from and who and how.
And how, exactly.
You know, so we've tried to take that darkness of that
out of it
with good intent.
Yes.
You know, as a strategy getting through work, but not in everyday life to hustle. You know,
we're
taking
not here
that
to
out.
Manipulate people. We're just here to get people to be able to do their job and want to do it. You know, that's what you signed on for. I know you came for the money, but in order to get that money from this company, you got to be able to do X, Y, Z. You understand?
That's everywhere. And what would every place tell you? I need you here at 4 o'clock exactly. Your shift ends at 9.
On time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the jobs, other jobs, obviously, of fast food and things. I've never worked a fast food, but I've worked restaurants, and restaurants would feed you. They didn't charge you and shit. But I hear like fast food workers, I think that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
I think like if I was a leader and at a place like that, I'd be like, listen, you work for me, you eat. You know, I let you guys eat.
Yeah.
Because I realize just in our experience that you come across a lot of people in life that are at different positions in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And you know as well as I do, we've had young kids come to our place hungry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially when you start a new job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to get, you got to wait 2 weeks for a check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know that this job's a motherfucker. So you try to help people out. You know, like, fuck, I know what it's like, bro. I need you to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I need you to get a lunch today because you're going to need it.
Hell yeah.
I ain't got no problem helping anybody out. You ain't never going to pay me back.
Yeah.
Because I get it.
Hell yeah.
You know, I need you to have some Gatorades. I need you to have some shit.
I need you to be prepared to go to battle.
You know, but I'm saying in that first 2 weeks, you know, first couple weeks when people are trying to get their shit together, first month or so, really first month.
Yeah.
Because you're already 2 weeks behind when you get paid.
Exactly.
So it takes about a month, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to just try to get your bearings going. You know, with a lot of cats out there trying to get by,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, seriously. And then, like, the main thing is, too, like, that's what I always, like, if I ever get a new guy at the job, this is something that I do. Like, you know, I gotta eat or I get bad migraines. So, like, if I'm ready to eat and they ain't got nothing, I'll get them something to eat. Like,
Yeah.
Why not? Like, what the hell? Like, I had several drivers tell me, like, yo, bro, you know what I'm saying? I think every job should do this. Like,
Yeah.
we be fucked up in the first couple of weeks. I'm like, I already know.
Oh, fuck yeah. We already know, man. You're
I've been
preaching the words. We've been this multiple times in different jobs. So you already know. Hey, boss, man, listen. I know we don't get paid till next Friday, but hey, can I get like a 50?
Yeah.
Can I get a little 50 on that till then? I got to pay my phone bill or else you ain't going to be able to get a hold of me. I ain't going to be able to work.
Exactly.
I got to pay that phone bill.
I got to pay that phone bill, man. That shit is just like, man, that's what I mean. It's just different phases of leadership. And I had a lot of people, you know, give me different ways of effective ways. But now more so like I said, based off of past experiences, I just kind of like play into my position, you know what I'm saying? And it has to be clear cut for me. You know, I can't no longer exude energy in places because I'm at that point in my life. I know I'm on a hamster wheel, so I'm aware of my
no wasted energy.
Yeah,
you don't want to do no wasted energy
at all. And I'm sorry, like I'm at that point, but it's like now it's time to put that energy that I've been putting at this 9 to 5 that has produced me nothing but lies and whatever like that. And I'm not saying like that.
Yeah, I know. I know. Everybody, people in general.
People in general.
Yeah, it does. It disappoints. Every job will disappoint you.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the third degree, you know. And so, like, I mean, you know, you try to give as much as you can and keep, like, pushing with a promise and a dream. But, like, life is not stopping. So, I just say like that, it just promoted me to more so just say, focus on something that I enjoy doing. Yeah, it's costing us a couple of dollars. Like looking at our bank account now, how much we spend out just trying to get this thing to gain some traction, you know, and using these different tools to be creative, you know, it's just like always just trying to think of what's going to work. And it's a lot of things may not work right now, but I'm noticing the more that we do this, when things do come up, like when a situation arrives, we're normally prepared because we realistically like dug in deep in the beginning to like the particulars in podcasting, you know what I'm saying? So like we were ready for when different things came up. It was just a copy paste situation.
Everything you did prior to what we're doing now was just training
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it's the Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi.
Mm-hmm.
He's teaching you to paint the fence, but you're learning fucking karate and you don't even know
Don't even know it.
You know, he's teaching you to sand the deck, wax on, wax off, but you're learning shit and you don't even know it.
Don't even know it.
You know, that's when you have to go back and look at that appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I appreciate that. Sometimes I feel like, though, a leader, a good leader doesn't want to be a leader either.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of, like, it's like, oh, yes.
Do you understand what we gotta do?
Do you understand then what I got to do? Like, you're not going to like me.
Not.
But we're going to get the shit done. And we're going to have, I mean, you're going to love me at the end of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to like me at the beginning.
Yeah, 'cause it's work.
It's work, yeah. But by the end, you're going to wish that. And I'm going to wish the same thing, that I wasn't standing by nobody else but you.
Yeah.
You know?
Period.
That, like, and I think that I got to experience that in the fire department, and I got to experience that outside the fire department, with you and Jay. We were 3 rough coal pieces that meshed well together, shined up to a nice diamond with 3 different attributes.
Mm-hmm.
And then that level's over.
Yeah.
Now it's move to the next and take all the things you've learned and become a better leader.
Yeah.
Drop the bad habits and enter in some more.
Yeah.
And then when that level's done, you do it all over again.
Yep. Continue to advance.
You never stop striving.
Yeah, because the top is where you're trying to get.
And the top's always moving. It's always getting higher.
Yeah,
it never stops. It's an escalator.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm sorry, brother, but you're running up a fucking 1 billion stair escalator, you know, and it's just keeps on going.
Every time you get up there, you're like, wait, this ain't it? Like, no, there's more. Like, oh, there's more. It's just like, how much information can you learn and gather, you know, and just be able to articulate it and manifest it and make it real, bro, you know? So, like, what you think? I'm fried, bro. I'm so hot.
No, I get it. I mean, I just think, like I said, I mean, if we can help everybody out there, tell them kind of like our experiences and what we've been through, I take that as a humbling experience, because I've named some names today, but there's plenty more inside the fire department, outside the fire department, that men and women, older and even younger, you know, I think if you're a true leader, you age, race, color, creed, religious, that doesn't mean anything, because there's beauty in everybody's ideas and ways of looking at things. And a true leader needs to look at every situation, micro and macro, in every possible angle and degree possible. So whether it's that guy, and then the end result has to be looked at a 360-degree angle. The more information you get about people, the more information you get about that job you're doing, the more views in that 360-degree angle you see, the more you understand.
Facts.
You know, the more you can get it done, and the more you can, because really, I mean, once you get these traits down, it falls into place, and you start to realize, okay, a real leader gets these little things done. Let's get all these little things done, and all these little things done anywhere you're at in life, even if it's at your job, or even you as a family, leading your family, as a man or a woman with your family around. What you do is you get your little things done. So when something major happens,
you're prepared. You
know, everybody's always had this feeling is I get up in the morning and I see a pile full of dishes in the sink, you know, and I say to myself, I should do these fucking dishes. I don't feel like I'm running late. I don't want to do these dishes. Then I go out into the real world and I got shit on all day, and it was a hard day, you know? And then I came back to dirty fucking dishes, and it angered me even more. You know, that was a little thing that needed to get done, because you don't know what the day is going to hold, and you're going to have unpredictable moments where you're going to have some obstacles that you're going to have to get through other than the daily norms, and you want your little things tight. those little things tied up and sewed up so that when that big thing happens, that shit ain't no problem. Whatever, let's handle that. My
Exactly.
little things are done.
Yeah.
Make sure your little things are done so that you can be that guy from the A team and sit back and say, damn, I love it when a plan comes to work.
Yeah, and that's the main thing too, like noticing that. Like the most of the time when big things happen, that big thing comes compiled with all the little things that you still didn't take care of.
Yeah.
So that makes it even bigger.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what like you were saying, like that level of procrastination, like we talked about that on the session earlier. When you still have to battle those traits because you've done it so long, you've made those excuses for so long
Yeah.
that now you're trying to change and you still have some of those characteristic traits.
Yeah.
And that shit ends up just, you know, and you'll make the excuse and take it just to bail you out right then and there, but it's always a reaction to that action every time.
Yes. And even to go even a little deeper,
Mm-hmm.
the inner and the outer, the so above, so below, you take care of those little things with you first.
Period.
Then, because what's worse than running late
Mm-hmm.
and now your job's piled up that day?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Now
You're always playing catch up. Yeah.
You
Come
know?
on, you in each other's head.
That day's ruined, right?
Whoa, yeah.
I know how to, I know cause and effect.
Yeah.
I know if I show up 5 minutes early, I ain't going to be late. I can do my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can have a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Get my shit done no matter what they throw at me today.
I was already here and ready.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That has to be the number one with the caring. That's got to be a mixture. The
Yeah.
care, I would say care
Yeah.
would be number one.
That has to be number.
That has, you're right.
You have to give a
Then the action of being on time.
Exactly.
So the intention of caring first, that always has to be, that conscious intention is usually number one in every case of everything. But you're right. That has to be number one as far as, well, you got to care, motherfucker. In order to care, you got to sacrifice. In order to sacrifice, shit's going to be tough.
So then I'm going to ask you this then, because, you know, you and I, we work together and this is my thing. So like, I never have a problem with being on time at a job. Now, what is your theory on when I tell you like, hey bro, the way that they just didn't give a fuck about my time or me sitting out here, and it's not like my time was being adjusted or anything.
Dude, it's so simple for me.
Yeah.
It's so simple for me because there's two ways, right? There's two ways to look at it. One, this can go for everybody in every job. Let's say there's somebody late.
Mm-hmm.
And you're frustrated. What the fuck you frustrated about it? A, are you their boss?
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably not.
Right.
You're mad about it. It's not going to make no fucking difference to you. That's between them and them only.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? However they handle it, whatever. You know, walk around, be salty all day. Let him being late and not getting in trouble. He didn't get in trouble, so you're mad all day. You know what I mean? You're sour now for the next month. Fucking Billy don't get in trouble when he's late. Why? It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you're on your way to being a leader, leaders don't think like that. Bosses think like that.
Yeah.
So then, get that out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is every situation is different and has context. I'm not making no excuses for being late.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in the position, and once again, knowing my people, I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
A, and B, if I knew that there was a person that's struggling to get to a certain time, a place on time, maybe it's during the school year, and they got kids and they got 3 different schools to go to, and they got 1 car and they got to get dropped off, you know? And do I want to battle this guy for the next 8 months? Be that hard ass dick, knowing the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowing, like, what the fuck? Who does that help?
Yeah, nobody.
Now I go into my toolbox and I rearrange things in my toolbox. I know what my toolbox is. I know who's who.
Mm-hmm.
I know who's what and who's going to care where and when and how. Those are the people I put in those positions. So I don't make that's a little thing to me. I don't make myself angry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather do that. If it was up to me, you know, I had to learn a hard lesson when I was younger. When I was roofing, started subcontracting, people under me, I went through 30 people in one season. I had older roofers tell me, you're a fucking asshole. What are you doing? You better pay these guys. But they weren't working to my specifications. And I thought the world better work like that. It fucking doesn't.
It does not.
So you have to adjust.
Yes.
And sometimes rather than fighting it or knowing that you don't have any other option, just say, I can't change this person. That's how you'd be out in the real world, right? If we weren't working together,
Yeah.
you'd be like, the neighbor kid's a little off, always walking up and down the street or whatever. You know, you get caught by him, you don't want to talk to him or whatever. You know, I can't change this person.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, you know, if they're bothering, if I feel like they're a bothersome, just got to know what it is, what the situation is.
Yeah.
And just change myself and be like, oh man, this kid, he's just lonely.
Mm.
He just needs somebody to talk to here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Why get mad at it when I could just embrace it?
And help fix
That's
it.
the problem with us in this world is you don't understand your destiny puts you on your path all the time.
Mm.
That person was supposed to be in front of you
Mm.
so that you can be a part. You want to buck the system? What happens? You buck, now I'm angry. Oh, I don't want to talk to this motherfucker. Oh, shit. I'm going to wait in the house till he leaves. Well, now he just made you angry and kept you in your house for the next 10 minutes while he walked past talking to so-and-so and you didn't want to get out there and talk. Like, you know what I mean? I know it sounds so silly and just, you know, ridiculous, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just an example.
It's the reality of life, though. That's really how
it's all in the mind. It's all the mindset inside and outside of work, inside and outside of your home.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the mind. It's different games depending on where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to realize that.
Yeah, and pay attention to it, like, for real. There's no reason to sit over here and, you know, constantly keep allowing these distractions to throw you off of your mission. Like,
Yeah.
You got to stay focused and just keep pushing forward. And you're right. So maybe just like you don't start doing wrong because other people are doing wrong to you, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying as a leader aspect too, I also have to know, like I said, I could be that dick and fire everybody all the time and I'll have nobody around me.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can realize this world is filled with a bunch of different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the good in this person?
Yeah.
Sometimes there isn't any good in some people and they don't last long. And maybe it's not just good in life, just not good fit for this job.
At all.
You know, you could be great somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, everyday people are going through everyday shit.
Yeah.
And I've been through a lot of everyday shit. So a lot of the younger people are going through everyday shit. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people help me out. I had people, you know, in the fire department, it's community, you know. You could lean on any people for help, any one of them. Mm-hmm. You know, out in the free world, that's the shame part. It's not necessarily seems like a community all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lean on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a third of my life with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't lean on you.
Right.
You can't lean on me.
Mm-hmm. You should be able to.
You know?
Yeah. Like,
but I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm just ranting.
No, I think we could get some real jewels, bro. That's just real life.
It just frustrates me when I see, because I do it too, though, people. Like, I'm a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things I procrastinate on and I don't get the, you know, I'm the perfect example. I'll let them dishes sit till the fucking morning.
Yeah.
Especially,
I swear.
You know what I mean?
I swear.
Sometimes I get up and that's my time to ready to do things.
Yeah, I got the boys here. They'll tell you, does daddy wash dishes in the house? You can say it.
Nah, I'm going to take that as a no.
Exactly. That does not wash dishes in the house.
But, man, I just think that that you can mold, there's a plenty different types of leaders out there, and they can be molded to any position they're in. There's natural born ones that do well all over, and there's ones that do well in a lane that they're in because of the experience they've had there.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you as a leader can be just a little bit more understanding and like I said, know when to use the carrot, know when to use the stick type thing, you know, that'll be the thing to kind of help more. But no, I definitely am ranting. You want to get out of here today?
Yeah, hold on. I got us a closer. Cause I did want to.
You want to read something real quick?
Yeah,
let's read it up.
Read some shit. Have some shit. Let's give us feedback on the microphone.
I know, bad feedback.
Bad feedback too. So
read it out live and uncut for everybody.
Yo, I say let me get to that part. So it says So if you're sitting in that seat right now, wearing the title, feeling the pressure, you're not weak. You're just in it. But don't give up. You were called to do this. Leadership ain't easy, but it's worth it. Just know you ain't got to carry it alone. Next week episode, though.
That was beautiful.
Hey, thanks, bro.
That was beautiful.
I appreciate it, man. That was
a way to just sum it all up.
Yeah. Hey.
We love you guys, man. Don't forget to check out the Legacy brand on Shopify.
Yeah.
Hit all the links. Go to Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
You're going to see us on more platforms.
And every Saturday at 10 a.m. we live on the sesh with the Real Mask Off podcast. Definitely check us out. You got to.
Yeah.
Hey, and next week episode, I think we flipping the mic, man. I got us a little topic I'm thinking for
don't tell them.
Don't tell them.
No, don't tell them.
Let it be a secret.
Let it be a secret.
Y'all need to check episode 8
or maybe
out.
you can just put it out during the week on the gram or something.
So stay tuned on the gram.
Stay tuned on the gram, people.
Hey, check us out. Holla at us in the comments.
Please do. Ask questions. Email us. Anything you want to talk about. Anything, please.
Hit that follow button and share this shit, man. Hey, share with us. As a leader. If you know that you're carrying something heavy, I want you guys to know that we see you, we got you, and we unmasking everything. Until the next time, this is the Real Mask Off podcast, baby. Y'all know the time.
Mask Off. This is the Real podcast. 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 Yeah. This is the Real. Mask Off. This is the Real.